March 21st every year is considered as World Poetry Day. And what is poetry? The most popular definition was done by William Wordsworth, and it says poetry is the spontaneous overflow of a powerful feeling. As we commemorate World Poetry Day today, we'll be having a conversation with some young and creative poets who are inside this building. As they are young, the theme of this year's commemoration is standing on the shoulders of giants. So we'll be having that commemoration and we'll understand what poetry means to them and the significance of the commemoration. Let's go. Hello, great poets. Yeah, good day. Good to be here. It's World Poetry Day. And I know you've been having a nice time discussing poetry. So I want to join you in this discussion, World Poetry Day. So, what do you understand about poetry and what's the significance of this day?
For poetry, we are talking about the situation whereby we are trying to bring together beautiful selections of words in lines, stanzas, rhymes, with some touch of figures of speech. For a day like this, World Poetry Day, we are looking at a situation whereby we can allow the legacy to keep moving, where we can pass on the legacy of poetry to the upcoming generations.
I understand that you are into the kind of poetry that focuses on developing faith and also motivating people. And you're also in secondary school. So why did you choose to focus on poetry? Because I know there are three genres of literature, the drama, the prose, and the poetry. Why did you choose to focus on poetry? What inspired you to start spoken word?
Okay, let me be very, very honest with you. I didn't want to do poetry. I officially started poetry in 2022. So my dad told me, go into spoken word poetry. I was not interested. I told him for 2 years. So up until 2022, I thank God for church. That was on the Father's Day presentation. And then I went up and then I loved the welcome that I got.
You are into indigenous poetry, and not just on the surface, deep indigenous poetry. What inspired you into this in a few words?
Well, a primary belief of mine is that if you want to tell the story of the people in the grassroots, to tell their story in a language that they totally understand and they can relate to. I grew up in Ijora, and then my understanding of poetry back then is that it is meant to be an elitist form of art. But people within the grassroots, we are all storytellers. We just tell stories in diverse forms. They have their stories that deserves to be told. But if you bring it out using the conventional style, no one might really get to relate with their stories. And then there are nuances in our culture, there are nuances in our tradition. I cannot be talking about Ogunlakaye or Shongolukoso in English language.
How old were you when you started doing poems?
11 years old.
And how old are you now?
12.
You are 12, so you are just like 1 year into poetry. So what do you understand about poetry?
Poetry puzzles us with its use of figure of speech and more. And poetry in the literature genre, written in lines, rhymes, and stanzas.
Okay, that's beautiful. Do you enjoy it when you say poems?
Yes.
How has poetry helped you?
It has helped me a lot because I have stage fright, but now I can stand and speak.
And speak.
With confidence.
Okay, you can speak to people. How old were you when you started?
8.
So how old are you now?
10.
How old are you?
4.
You're 4 years old and you are a poet.
Yeah.
So give me example of poems are you?
Nursery poem.
Nursery poem or nursery rhyme is an example. Okay, so do you have any poem that you want to recite for us here now?
Yes.
Okay, what's the title of the poem?
Humpty Dumpty.
Humpty Dumpty. Okay, so recite Humpty Dumpty for us.
Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king horses and all the men couldn't put Humpty together again.
It's Humpty Dumpty time. So it's World Poetry Day, and we'll all be going out to have a feel of the poems that they have to educate, to enlighten, and to let the world know that poetry truly can rule the world. So let's go out to feel our content, to know. Oh, let me lead the way for my great poets.
Coming from a man who once was under sin's law, I have to let you know that knowledge is not what keeps us above sin. How could mere information in our brain keep us from sin's law, power, and drain? A state of being, a nature, more than just a myriad of acts. Its goal is to bring you to a place where you confirm your condemnation, saying, if truly I am a chosen generation, a member of God's nation, why then am I reporting to sin's station? So we may fall, get beaten, battered, and bruised. But he assures us by grace, when the righteous falls, he rises 7 times better, stronger, and faster, ensuring a sweatless, stressless, and painless glide through life's mission.
Just a mention of Egypt and its pyramid, Ethiopia, the Gambia, Magic of Mali, Madagascar, Sudan, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Benin, and Nigeria. Even Ghana makes memory resound. Yes, a visit to show you the beauty of art, the strength of blackness, and the creativity that comes with it. Interestingly, Africa has about 30% of the earth, remaining the mineral resources. We have great music and great monuments and more arts. Don't play.
I want to make it in life. You want to make it in life. We want to make it in life. Mo bo wurotan, we never lack mates in speech, but in deed. Repeat. Repeat. How people will never fail to remind you of reaping it in your pail. Eka Owuro, Amars, a daily recitation for mission cultivation. It reminds us all that we have to begin. Òwúrọ̀ lọ́jọ́, ẹni ò bówúrọ̀ tán, á ṣe lásán.
Nursery rhymes, ever sweet, like lábẹ́ igi òrombó, ibẹ̀ la gbé ṣeré wa, inú wa dùn ara wa yá, lábẹ́ igi òrombó. More of the sweetness of our cuisines. Melanie popping. We are who we are. Africans. Tomorrow, tomorrow. Tomorrow never ends here. We love the beat of Africa. We are Africans.
Agbára tí ń gbénú rẹ̀ jù ràn gidigba rán bàbá ńlá wọn, ohun gbogbo tí ń wárí fún ọjọ́ pọ̀n rí bàbá ńlá wọn lọ, ìdí ó tayọ lẹ́lẹ́ bí ẹgbẹ́ àgbèjì ìràwọ̀ láàrin òṣùpá, ìdí ojó bí iná ọnú àgbàdá, ìdí òràn bí òrùn òwúrọ̀, àlà ní òfòkú ọ̀lẹ́ hàn, òní ni kò ní dọ̀la, ìràwé tó dájọ́ ọ̀lẹ̀ kò tún Jésù kẹ̀, àmọ̀kẹ́ ò tagìrì, odò ń gbárèrè, àmọ̀kẹ́ tagìrì.
Happy World Poetry Day!
When the Yorubas want to report a child to the elders, they use his father's name. When they want to report a child to the gods, they use his mother's name. Care to know why? See, it takes a god to know another god. I know history has never been kind to our women. Our women, pioneers of wars, pioneers of stories, but they end up in the black book as housewives, as mistresses. But dear woman, I know you are awesome. Dear woman,
The language of poetry is deeper than life. These creative poets behind me believe that poetry can be used to change the world and make it a better place for everyone to live in. They want the society to help in allowing them to express themselves the more by creating more conducive environments for them. Ola Awakan, TVC News, Lagos.